All hail the Clicks crew. Alright guys, today we're talking about starting your very own Heroclix YouTube channel. I guess you could kind of extrapolate this into starting a YouTube channel of any variety, because some things are kind of, you know, it could be for any kind of content. But we're going to go ahead and talk about it. Pros, cons, realities, fantasies, things like that. Gonna keep it a short video, kind of try to keep it light for you, because I do still encourage people to have a Heroclix YouTube channel. But before we get into that, I want to take the time to let you know that Mr. Clicksflix is sponsored by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama, home of the ROC. No matter if you're in the United States or around the world, Lucky Dice Cafe has the winning role for our gaming needs. You can visit them at luckydicecafe.com or on their Facebook page using the link found in the description of this video. Mr. Clicksflix is also sponsored by TrollingToad.com, one of the largest online gaming retailers. Visit TrollingToad.com and use the promo code Mr. Clicksflix for 5% off your HeroClix order today. So, now that we talked about the channel sponsors, what do you do if you want to start a HeroClix channel? You wake up, and I'm talking about this because I get an email probably every other week, sometimes once a week, depending on how much time, especially over the summer. I'll get emails about what do I got to do to start a Heroclix channel. You got any advice on this, that, and the other thing having to do with YouTube and stuff like that? And that's fine. I encourage those questions. This is not me complaining about it. I get emails about it. I do my best to answer it. Sometimes my answer is in fact a non-answer, where it's like, you know, quite frankly, I don't know. But I do my best to, I always respond to those kind of things because it's a little daunting. It's daunting, quite frankly, to start a YouTube channel. It really shouldn't be, though, because I'm not particularly good at anything, and I enjoy doing my YouTube channel, and hopefully you guys do too, enjoy viewing the videos. But anyway, so what do you do if you want to start a YouTube channel? More specifically about Heroclix. Well, first things first is you want to think about what about Heroclix do you want to talk about. Do you want to talk about Heroclix in general? Do you want to talk about Heroclix metagame? You know, the competitive scene? Do you want to just do team builds? Do you want to do lists? Do you want to do modding, stuff like that? You know, just kind of think about that, because you have to feel really passionate about whatever it is you talk about. Now, you could just talk about generally Heroclix, and you could do, you know, you could talk some about metagame. You could talk about you could do some like top 10 lists. You could do some modding and stuff like that. You can do that, but just make mental notes of, okay, this is what I like talking about, this is what I don't like talking about, because trust me, if you start talking about something you don't like or you don't honestly care about, it's going to come across in the video and it's going to show. And you know, it's pretty obvious when it happens. And I'm not going to name any names or anything in this video, but you'll see when it happens. And it happens across genre too. I'm not just talking about Heroclix videos. So, you know, you want to make sure that you're okay with talking about Heroclix for an extended period of time, because in order to get anywhere on YouTube right now, it used to be, you know, you could do a bunch of SEO things, search engine optimization. You could do that, and then, you know, if you put out one video a month, as long as your SEO stuff was on point, you could get found and people do, you know, deal with your channel, this, that, and the other thing. It was heavily weighted with the YouTube algorithm that everybody always talks about. But now that stuff has almost no weight. Most of how a video does or does not do at this particular point, as far as I know on YouTube, and for what YouTube said officially, is basically context clues from your video. So they'll have this little algorithm that scans the background of your video for context clues. It's gonna read the auto closed captioning from YouTube and listen to the audio for context clues. Your thumbnail has something to do with it, but I've seen thumbnails that were garbage do good. I've seen good thumbnails do terrible. It really seems arbitrary at times, but it used to be, anyway, circling back around to the point, it used to be if you did a good job with your search engine optimization, you could put out a video once a month and still maintain what they call traction. You could still get views and subscribers and stuff like that, if that's what you care about. Now, if you're just like, I just want to get this off my chest and do videos, not worried about that, that's cool, more power to you. And that's okay. You're allowed to do that just for fun. Even if you just want to start a channel and set all your videos to private so nobody ever sees them, that's fine. I'm just speaking on behalf of things to expect. In order for you to, if you're interested in growing your channel, you need to do at least probably 3 videos a week, 2 videos a week maybe, but it's still going to be tough. 3 videos a week, I'd say, but more than likely, you need everyday content. I've noticed, like right now, this video is going up in everyday April. I get about 200% more traffic in April than I do at any time of the year, and it's a straight up, like, but that graph, ooh man, it goes so straight up, it looks so good. And then it'll last for about a month, and then it'll come back down to normal because the algorithm's not detecting all that activity from all those videos. And then there's a lot of places, I would even say, if you were interested in being part of like that, you're like, oh man, these guys have 100,000 plus subscribers and stuff like that. Now, no Heroclique's YouTube channel has that, so let's put that out there too. We'll talk about managing those expectations here in a minute. But you know, you're like, oh, I see so and so has 100,000 subscribers. A lot of those channels, they have multiple uploads every day for years. You're talking about 2 or 3 uploads a day, 7 days a week, 365, no breaks, 4 years to get to that point. Okay. Now, if you're a Heroclique, so YouTube in general, to be in the top 3% of YouTube, is 10,000 subscribers, because there's a lot of people with no subscribers, a lot of people with like 5 or 6. So it sounds like a low number, but 10,000 is a lot. That puts you in the top 3%. Only one Heroclique's channel in the history of Heroclique's channels has ever had 10,000 subscribers, and I think he dipped below it, and that is Glass Cabinet Films. I think he calls it Glass Cabinet Hobbies now, and he doesn't even really do Heroclique's videos. He does occasionally those brick breaks or whatever, which is a cool idea, by the way. I'm not dogging him for anything. That's a cool idea, but that's it. Other than that, the next closest one's Tabletop Teacher, I think, with 5,000. And other than that, if you see anything bigger than that, it's somebody that happens to be covering Heroclique's for one video. It's not a Heroclique's channel doing Heroclique's videos. Everybody else, I'd say the top dogs, right around 3,000. So I would say Heroclique's, you're probably going to top out around 7,000 subscribers generally, 7 to 10,000. That's not going to be enough to make a living. So get that out of your head. You're not going to, as much as I'd like to tell you, you can do YouTube as a job. For if Heroclix is the content you're making, you're not making it as a job. You're doing it as basically for the love of the game. You're doing it for the love of the game. In order to get any kind of, let's say you're making an unsponsored video and you bought a case of set X that came out and it cost you $200 for that case, you would have to have nearly 100,000 views to pay for that case. If you look across the spectrum of Heroclique's channels, nobody really gets that. So that lets you know how much in the hole you are whenever you do this. So there's that's going on, and we're going to paint a little bit of a grim picture, but then we're going to be all nice, rosy, and happy. So I always feel bad when people say, well, I want to do this as a full-time job. I get that email a lot, that I want to do a YouTube channel where it's my job. Fact of the matter is you can't right now. The subscribership's just not there. You would have to do something else and have Heroclique's basically be your throwaway videos. You'd have to do like a Magic the Gathering channel with like Heroclique Saturday or something like that. Like that, it wasn't even really part of your channel. It was kind of like your throwaway video. That's the only way you'd be able to do Heroclique's like that, which is fine, but you're not going to be able to do a Heroclique's channel where Heroclique's is your core content and you're making enough to pay the bills, keep the channel running, and all that stuff. That's not going to happen. So there's that. Now, speaking of keeping that stuff running, a lot of people ask, you know, what do I do about Patreon and stuff like that? Unless you run your channel for a full year, don't even worry about it. It's going to seem disingenuous when you do it anyway, and it's hard to get people to get on Patreon. It's difficult. Now there are people that are in Heroclique's on Patreon, and they're doing okay with it, including myself. But again, it's not your full-time job. It just, you know, maybe makes it so I can afford a better camera once in a while if I save all my ruples. Yeah, so there's that. Now, as far as the actual technical aspect of, I want to record a video, I don't care about the money. Okay, that's good. That's step 1 to success. I don't care about the money. Step 2, not really worrying about too many views or subscribers. It's good to have goals. I threw out those numbers to help you manage your expectations. I don't really care about that. I still want to move forward with my channel. So, step 1 is a camera. Now, if you've bought a camera a phone, a smartphone, in probably the last 5 years, the camera that's on your phone is more than good enough to get the job done for YouTube. It probably shoots in 1080p. It's perfectly fine. I have a Samsung Galaxy S7, and I have done videos with it. I think Happy Little Heroclix records his videos on a phone. I don't know what his phone is though. It's not a Galaxy S7, but you'd be surprised at the video quality you can get out of that. And then the next thing I would tell you to do is find a window, and that is where you film by. Now, I'm at the disadvantage of, if you've ever seen like kind of behind the scenes videos, I'm in my basement because I don't want my 4-year-old or my 6-year-old touching, you know, a $100 Heroclix chase figure, touching an expensive camera or anything like that. So I moved to the basement away from a window. So I had to do some lighting things. There's some cheaper lighting kits. Neewer on Amazon has probably the best bang for the buck. And that's what I got to help with my lighting situation. It really helped out. So those are, I don't know, about $30 each for something, but a lot of them come as kits. That's why I'm having trouble thinking of, like, you get the light and you get a bunch of other things. I think a light itself is like $30. But if you have that light, you have this, you don't even really need a tripod for this. You can balance it on some books if you want. They do make small tripods that you can get for like $5 or $10, and phone mounts that you can get, which is good. And then if you just use you plug in your earbuds that came with your phone and have the little microphone in them, if you plug that into your phone, and that is what you use to record your voice, that should be good enough. There are upgrades that you can do for that, but really, if you can get a good quality video and, more importantly, a better sounding audio, people will listen and it'll be okay. That'll be it. So those are my suggestions. As far as editing goes and stuff like that, there's plenty of channels that don't edit at all, and they do perfectly fine. There's other channels that do heavy editing that do good. I would say I do kind of a middle-ish amount of editing. Like, I don't stay up all night doing it, but I do try. I'll admit that I do try pretty hard sometimes about it, but I don't do as much as some other people. So the editing stuff, you know, you could probably get away with Windows Movie Maker. That's what I used for years. And then there's other stuff like OBS, Open Broadcast Systems, a free to download thing. And you can do some screen capturing and stuff like that. Like, that's what I'm recording this video on right now on my computer. And that's free to download. And then there's some other cheap stuff you can use too, if you want to do that. Now, as far as content goes, like I said earlier, you can do whatever you want. There are some places that are kind of congested up right now. I feel like Meta Talk is pretty full right now. There's a lot of places want to talk about it, including myself. I for a while wanted to be a channel that did that, but that's just not. I realized that I don't like talking about that for more than like one video every couple months. It's just not. It's not my thing. I like playing in those competitive tournaments. I like doing the games and theory crafting. I do not like making videos about it. So, you know, you've got a bunch of people that do that. You've got Clickstoff. You've got Married with Clicks does it. Starting Over Podcast does it. And man, what's the one with PJ? I feel so bad that I can't remember their podcast name. They're good at it. I don't remember theirs, but it's PJ Boleyn and Scott Crampton. No, I don't know. If I remember it, I'll put it in the thing. I feel so bad, guys. I'm sorry about your not remembering your podcast name. off the top of my head. But you know, a bunch of people. The point of the matter is that a bunch of people have the meta game under wraps. And that's fine if you can come in, even if you literally talk about the same thing, that's fine. But I'll just let you know, the vast majority of Heroclix players, some of my worst performing videos are videos talking about the metagame. And it could just be because I don't know what I'm talking about. But mostly it's that the majority of players do not play meta Heroclix. They don't play competitively. They play either at home with some friends, or they go to the comic book store or the game store and they play there. They do not play competitively whatsoever, so they do not care about, you know, this, that, or the other corner case ruling that makes this particular team really broken. They don't care about it. So that's why I personally don't really worry about it. I can leave that to other people that are A, more articulate about it than me, and B, care about it more than me. And again, that's not that I don't care, and it's not that I can't be articulate. It's just that they're doing it, and they're doing it well, so I've chosen to stay away. So again, these are things to consider when making your content. There's still plenty of things for like just general team building. Happy Little Heroclix does a great job. He murders it in views every month on basically fun team builds. He does a good job editing. His lighting and sound's always on point. And his channel, if you told me I had to narrow his channel down to one kind of content he did, I'd say it's team building. That's what he does. And then you know, you've got you know, that Dial H for Heroclix and a couple other places do just sort of general content. You know, where they sprinkle in a little bit of everything. I would say that I'm kind of general content, but I've also kind of branched off and found my own little corner, which is kind of like a list. I'm the Heroclix list guy apparently nowadays, you know, with my top 10 lists, my top 5 lists, my top 3 lists, stuff like that, which is fine. And I actually really like making those videos. I didn't think I'd like making those videos, but I like them a lot. People seem to really like them a lot, so I'm okay with doing that. And again, if more people wanted to do it, I know, you know, Happy Little Heroclix does it. I've seen all kinds of other channels do top lists, and that's fine too. And we all kind of blend over here and there, but you know, we kind of, you know, we find our niche, our sub niche within our Heroclix niche, and we just kind of stay there. And it mostly has to do, I think, it's not that there isn't enough views to go around, because if everybody wanted to talk about everything, we would all probably get the same amount of views that we do now. It's not like it's a finite pie that only, you know, there's only 10,000 views to go around. So, you know, if I'm doing a top 10 video and I get, you know, 7,000 views, which I'd never get. I'd be so happy to get that many views. That doesn't mean there's only 3,000 more views. You know, those same 7,000 people could watch a Married with Clicksflix top 10 video, or a you know, listen to Edward over the Starting Over podcast. They could listen to him do a top 10 video. So it's not like it's a pie that's finite. So you can do what you want, but some gaps that I've seen that I think would do really good for Heroclix channel, or at least have a small subculture that very much followed them, is since they came out with those deep cuts, a Heroclix painting channel where you're just kind of painting your miniatures. There's a lot of channels that do it for like Warhammer 40k and stuff like that, where they paint the miniatures, D&D. I think a Heroclix one would go over very well. And also a Heroclix like actual modding thing. So, you know, you either snap the sculpt off and you do a completely new sculpt, like Mike what's his name? Man, he's a famous guy too. I'm off my game tonight on remembering people's names. But anyway, he does really good modding. So if you're good at modding, I would suggest you know, like redoing sculpts or adding things to existing sculpts to make them different. If you're good at that, I think that'd be a really good niche too. But again, any content will do well. If you just stick to have fun with it, manage your expectations, and have fun with it, I guess. But that's the 3 things: dodge, duck, dive, dodge, and something. But anyway, hopefully this inspired you guys to start a Heroclix channel. I do always suggest to people, if you want to start a channel, start a channel. It's free. YouTube's free right now still. So if you start a channel, even if it bombs, as long as you're having fun, it doesn't matter. So if you guys have any questions about it, I'm pretty available on social media. You can send me questions at mrclicksflix@gmail.com. I'll do my best to answer them, help you guys out. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. As always, please remember that it's uncritical miss if you don't have probability control.